This is Jamie Drummond for Good Food Revolution. I am here just outside Montreal, Quebec, with Chef David McMillan of Joe Beef and Liverpool House fame. How are you today, sir?
I'm very good. Yourself?
I am fantastic. You just provided me with a beer. It's nice and warm outside. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a balmy day.
Now, when I called you earlier today, I said it was Jamie Drummond from Toronto. You said, "Boo, Toronto." No. Is that a friendly rivalry, or did I sense a little bit of antagonism?
No. Like I said, we have so many friends in Toronto, and Fred and I made a book like last year, and we never realized how many friends we had in Toronto until we actually went there. We did some kind of dinner event at the Drake Hotel.
Yes, yeah.
And so many more chefs showed up and were super cool with us than here, so.
Would you ever consider opening a restaurant in Toronto?
No, but that not for the fact that it's Toronto, but I wouldn't consider opening a restaurant in New York City, in Toronto, or even 5 blocks from Joe Beef. I would consider opening another restaurant next door to Joe Beef,
right?
In between Joe Beef and Liverpool House, or within 2 minutes walking distance of Joe Beef. I think our neighborhood in Little Burgundy can actually withstand a couple more restaurants. I just don't see myself, hopping in a plane and going to Toronto.
Right.
I don't see what's the purpose when I could, if I have a need to open another restaurant, our public can deal with it in our neighborhood.
In your mind, what makes Montreal so special and so different from perhaps Toronto?
Well, you have to understand that when I go to Toronto, I'm super excited about being there. I always make a beeline, first of all, to, you have a couple of oyster meccas there.
Yeah.
That I always enjoy going to. I'll always try to sneak into Starfish. I'll always for sure go to Rodney's and eat a pile of oysters at the bar there. I like that kid there, Matty Matheson at Parts and Labor. He's funny.
Oh, he's a fun boy.
Yeah, he's a fun guy.
He sent me a website link the other day.
Yeah, for sure he did.
Basically, I think I lost some of my hair looking at it.
Yeah, he's a dirty boy.
Oh, he certainly is.
And we have a lot of friends down there, and I always enjoy going to Toronto. It feels like an American city, so it's always a lot of fun. And you guys have different wine lists than we do here.
Oh, yeah, very different, yeah.
I think the food style as well is a lot different. Perhaps it's more...
Food style is different.
Food style is different.
Way?
It's more like the rest of North America. It's a little bit of an international food style, I find. Whereas Montreal, like sometimes I crave that international food style. You see what I'm saying? Not that it's a bad thing; it's a good thing. But sometimes Montreal, there's only so much Montreal food eating that I can do.
What was your earliest ambition?
I had to work standing up with my hands with my friends and listen to the mute radio.
So you actually always wanted to be a chef?
Not really a chef, really, per se, but, I think both Fred and I are kind of like the same type of person. We like to work with our hands. We like to work in a kind of creative atmosphere. We like to work with a group. We both have pretty strong attention deficit disorder. And we like working with our hands and listen to music and work together.
What kind of music do you like listening to in the kitchen? Because I don't like classic rock, and working at Jamie Kennedy, that's all we ever heard in the kitchen.
No, we made the Beastie Boys illegal. Most hip hop is illegal.
Okay, and what's the reasoning behind that?
It's just fucking, it's so predictable that, you could drop out of high school, go work in a kitchen, develop a marijuana beer habit, and listen to fucking Beastie Boys is the worst, So
what do you choose in the kitchen?
I like to listen to NPR or satellite radio, KCRW. The Morning Becomes Eclectic show.
Yeah.
Even Howard Stern, recordings and. A lot of NPR, really, NPR talk radio, and then sports radio, hockey radio,
right.
Stuff like that, not per se any kind of classic rock or anything. And there's always a kid who's in the restaurant, whether it's a busboy, a waiter, or some girl that's got killer playlists on their iPod, So I always want to listen to new tunes.
If you could go back and speak to your 20-year-old self, what kind of advice would you give him?
I'm happy to say that I have no regrets. in my career so far. I think I worked with some really good mentors early on, and so did Fred. Today, my mentors are my friends. Martin Picard, Normand Laprise. I think Fred, thinks the same thing. And today, those guys are my friends, and we've always, because I met those guys at a young age, we've always stayed the course. Classic cuisine. Don't follow the trends. Stick to your guns. I've never done tasting menus. I've never done flights of wine. It's always been an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert. The food that I was cooking when I was 20 and the food I was cooking with Fred, when I was 25 is still very much the same kind of food we're cooking today. It's market-driven French cuisine. The food that which always tried to stay classic like Vans, classic like Converse, classic like Levi's jeans, Here's a plane. We're, of course, in the Dorval, by the beautiful Dorval Airport.
So, what would you say your biggest indulgence was?
Indulgence? In food?
Yeah. Or indulgence in life, actually.
I've always worked and been a self-centered kind of worker, working on my name, or and with my partnership with Fred, always working kind of together. I'm passing the baton, left to each other to have some kind of like quality of life. Our biggest indulgence is our quality of life. We both have lots of toys and very good quality of life. We both spoil our children. We both don't work as much as it's a traditional chef does. I think we work 3 days a week each. We'll put in the hours on those 3 days, and but that's my indulgence. My indulgence is, to have the most time to myself that I can get outside of the restaurant.
Speaking of indulgences, the first and last time I was at your restaurant, I actually had a really bad evening. Nothing to do with the restaurant whatsoever. It was actually the most amazing hospitality ever. And it was due to that hospitality that I ended up splitting up with a now ex-girlfriend. What happened was you sent me a lovely slab of foie gras to the bar. And I wasn't aware of this, even after 4 months of dating her. She couldn't abhor foie gras and thought it was the most disgusting thing in the world. Exactly, my thoughts exactly. Now, what with the state of California effectively banning the sale and preparation of foie gras, what's your take upon that whole argument? And is there a strong anti-foie gras movement within Montreal?
Foie gras is traditional in the province of Quebec. I've watched American magazines and the Food Network embrace foie gras like it's the next fucking coming, but it's total. I don't know, growing up in French in the province of Quebec, we've been eating foie gras. It's a holiday dish. It's something that we serve at Christmas and New Year's. America, for some perverse reason, or the rest of, loves to cook foie gras 24/7, 52 weeks a year, which is, of course, maybe excessive. There's nothing... We don't particularly do too much foie gras, I'll tell you, during the summer months. It absolutely makes no sense to have foie gras on a day like today.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're wearing sandals, it's not time. You don't eat foie gras. It's just the way it is.
It's a nice way to look at it, yeah.
No, but, so it's grown out of bounds. But, again, there's been so much talk about that foie gras ban. I don't know if I can bring anything else to the plate, but I'd be more worried about the state of chicken.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Than foie gras, and then forget, that's not even my first fight. My first fight would be, why can't I get red zone non-sustainable endangered fish at my fish market still?
Yeah.
Right now. That's more of a concern to me, because you know what? We raise ducks to be force-fed from the beginning. It's not as if we're foraging them in the forest and they're going to disappear. Otherwise we're just not going to raise ducks. You see what I'm saying? We raise them to eat them. The end. Whereas, more of these wild fish that are going, extinct, that's a bigger problem to me.
With the proliferation of food blogs, people coming into your restaurants taking pictures of every single dish that comes out, with the sort of reality food television that's going on, and the number of food books, that food culture that's going on right now, What are your comments upon the state of North American cuisine and how it relates to all of that aforementioned stuff? I mean, are food bloggers a necessity of our après postmodern society, or are they just a complete pain in the
You're a
arse?
food intellectual, my friend.
I'll stop.
But yeah, you know, I guess I've had this conversation with Fred and other people so many times. I guess if people want, there's a need. I guess people want to blog about food. People want to be a critic, and you know, I'm no one to judge. You know, people like that. I find it, you know, the one thing that does bother me, and it's not for copyright. All of our food is pictured, and it's on.
Yeah.
You know, you can see any pictures of our food anywhere. There's a book. There's countless pictures online on our website of every plate we've ever done, most likely. I do find it weird when there's a table of 4 in the restaurant, though, and there's always a guy there with a high-powered camera taking pictures of everything and tweeting everything while he's eating. I said, because what that tells me is kind of like, you know, whatever happened to casual conversation between friends, you know? To dissect everything you do all the time,
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
fucking crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jesus, like people fucking, it's Joe Beef, okay? Like, it's not like they're looking for something that's not there, you know? No genie's ever crawled out of a bottle and blown me, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, dude, I apologize I said that. Wine is a delicious beverage made from grapes. I like some of them.
Is wine your preferred poison over
Yeah,
spirits
sure. I'm
and beer?
100%,
Yeah.
you know, Burgundy wine drinker. Absolutely, it's my favorite poison, you know. But again, wine should never cost more than $100 a bottle, ever. Nothing justifies it after that. Not even the greatest terroirs of Burgundy costs more, you know. Any Burgundy that costs over more than $100 a bottle, I think you're buying a little bit of
the
label,
hype, yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit of hype there.
Yeah.
You're buying a little bit of Louis Vuitton. Because, you know, you can still find, you know, Monster Von Romanés and Pommard, Premier Cru Volnay, Clos Vougeot, all under $100, you know.
David, thank you very much for joining us at Good Food Revolution
Thank
today.
you so much for having me.
I'm sorry about the torrent of questions there. It was like
No, it's all right.
And we look forward to catching up with you in the future.
Thank you so much.
Take care.